The Iran-US war is now stretching into the open ocean hundreds of kilometers away from the Islamic Republic's borders. Iran's Islamic Revolution Guards Corps, IRGC, has claimed that it struck an American destroyer in the Indian Ocean, a claim that it did not prove with any proof. IRGC said Ghadar 380 and Talaya missiles had hit the U.S. warship on March 3rd while it was refueling from an American tanker. Ghadar is a medium-range ballistic missile with a range of up to 2,000 kilometers designed for precision strikes and rapid deployment, while Talaya is a strategic cruise missile system capable of reaching targets up to 1,000 kilometers away. The strike triggered widespread fires on board both the vessels, lay more than 600 kilometers away from Iran's borders during the powerful strike, the IRGC said. IRGC launched operation named True Promise 4 in retaliation against Israeli-American aggression on Saturday, vowing to continue it until the enemy's complete defeat. From land to air to sea, Iran has been attacking U.S. military targets across the region. Iran also claimed that U.S.'s 100,000-ton USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier is among the targets that have been struck throughout the operation. However, the U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, called Iran's claim a lie. CENTCOM's clarification came after Iranian guards claimed 4 ballistic missiles struck the aircraft carrier. Meanwhile, the IRGC also said that more than 10 oil tankers have been struck in the Strait of Hormuz after they ignored Iran's no passage warning, prompting military action. The IRGC said Strait of Hormuz is now a war zone under its complete control. The IRGC ground forces said they launched 3 simultaneous operations and fired 230 drones, claiming attack at the U.S. base in Erbil and terrorist group locations in northern Iraq. It also added that several drones were repeatedly launched at the Al Salam and Arif Jan U.S. bases in Kuwait.
The conflict has taken a dramatic turn at sea. The United States Central Command says American forces carried out strikes against Iranian naval assets in the Gulf of Oman. In a blunt operational statement, CENTCOM declared, Iran had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman, today 0. This marks one of the most direct U.S. naval engagements against Iranian forces in recent years. The Gulf of Oman is a critical corridor linking the Arabian Sea to the Strait of Hormuz, a region vital for global oil shipments. Even as the naval confrontation unfolded, tensions flared on land. According to reports, an Iranian drone struck U.S. military personnel in Bahrain, hitting the elite Crown Plaza Manama hotel area where American defense staff were present. The reported strike targeted U.S. military-linked personnel rather than a formal base installation. Amid the spiraling confrontation, the United States Department of State issued an urgent advisory for Americans inside Iran. The message was stark: shelter in place or leave Iran now by land. Taken together, the developments point to a multi-front escalation. At sea, Iranian warships reportedly destroyed. On land, a drone strike hitting U.S. military personnel in Bahrain. The confrontation now stretches from the Gulf of Oman to areas hosting U.S. military staff. Maritime routes, hospitality infrastructure, and sovereign territory are all entangled in the widening crisis.
This incident This tragic event is an extremely bitter blow for all of us, the entire Iranian nation. What this means is that America and the Zionists, through their actions, have practically created a dire situation for Iran. And for the Iranian people, we must unequivocally state they have truly set fire to the very heart of our nation. We will make their hearts burn. They must understand that they cannot simply strike and then escape without consequences. And the Iranian nation, throughout its long and storied history, has witnessed many such events. It has seen things far worse than these. The Mongols arrived and completely devastated the entirety of Iran, yet the Iranian people stood firm and resisted them.
Iran's top security chief has delivered a blistering warning to the US, declaring the Islamic Republic is bracing for a prolonged and punishing war as tensions spiral across the Middle East. Ali Larijani, head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, lashed out at US President Donald Trump, accusing him of plunging the region into chaos with what he called delusional fantasies. In a blistering series of social media posts, Iran's top security chief Ali Larijani flatly mocked whispers of a diplomatic overture to Washington, unleashing a tone of unyielding defiance that matched the roar of missiles and drones slicing through skies across multiple borders. Iran, unlike the United States, has prepared itself for a long war, he declared, a stark rejection of any talk of renewed negotiations as the region hurtles deeper into conflict. Larijani accused Trump of betraying his own America First doctrine in favor of what he described as Israel First, claiming the US president had sacrificed American lives and resources to advance Israeli ambitions. Mimicking Trump's trademark all-caps style, Larijani charged that US had entered a conflict that damages US interests while serving Israel's military campaign, which intensified dramatically following the October 7 Hamas-led attacks. He warned that Trump's wishful thinking could drag the entire region into a wider and unnecessary war, one he suggested even the White House now fears could cost more American casualties. The rhetoric comes just days after a devastating joint US-Israeli assault on Iran that killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in the opening wave of strikes, along with senior commanders and members of his family. Since then, more than 2,000 targets across Iran, including military bases and weapons facilities, have reportedly been hit. Tehran has also responded with barrages of ballistic missiles and drones targeting Israel, US bases, Gulf Arab states, Iraq, Cyprus, and key maritime corridors, widening the battlefield to at least half a dozen countries. Long regarded by some as a pragmatic insider who once oversaw nuclear negotiations with US, Larijani has now taken a hardline stance. Sanctioned earlier this year by the US over his role in cracking down on domestic protests, he is widely seen as a powerful figure operating at the center of Iran's wartime leadership. On Monday, he crushed any flicker of diplomatic hope, reposting reports of possible talks with a stark, uncompromising warning: "We will not negotiate with the United States." As military strikes intensify and rhetoric grows more incendiary, Larijani vowed Iran would fiercely defend itself at any cost, promising to make its enemies regret their miscalculation. The message from Tehran was chillingly clear: this conflict is far from finished, and the next phase may be even more dangerous.